Hi guys, welcome back to another in the series of conversations with Shelley, where my intention is always to take you beyond the ordinary. Now, I have been a little bit absent recent, and I think I may have expressed to you why I have been, and I'll get a little bit more into it as we go through this week's episode. But for those of you who are new here, thank you for stopping by. I am Shelley. And for those of you who are not so new here, welcome back. Thank you as always for being a part of this journey. So, this episode, I'm going to talk to you about what happened this week in my Mounjaro um, updates and my Mounjaro journey and my decision to go to a compounded Tirzepatide. No, I know I would have mentioned in previous videos that I'm looking into not titrating, sorry, I'm looking into going the route of compounding the main ingredient in the GLP-1. And I think if I'm not mistaken, I would have hinted, or not hint, I think I would have been very clear on what I intended to have done, and that was completed. So I wanted to first of all indicate right here that my provider of choice was Mochi Health, and I've done my unboxing, and I was very impressed with the speed at which my medications came, and that's a component version of Tirzepatide. I was very impressed with the speed. I was very impressed with how the actual medications came cold and compressed, and I had all the necessary things that were a part of my kit. I had my syringes, my alcohol wipes, all the things that were necessary for me to have, and that was a very positive indicator for me to go back and another month and place an order with Mochi. So I did my first injection on a compounded version of these drugs, and guys, let me tell you, I don't know if there is something that was added to this um, version of the compounded medication versus the branded version of the drug, but I feel absolutely amazing. I mean, truth be told, I took my meds on Monday, which would have been the 10th of November, 2025. And I took it actually in the night. I actually took it about 6 o'clock thereabout. And appetite suppression to the roof. Like I wasn't feeling hunger. I wasn't feeling all the craving. The food noises that I had were completely gone. And remember, guys, I took a break from the branded version for about a week. So I was off the branded version for about a week, awaiting the delivery of the compounded version. So if you want, you can say, boy, I had the medication out of my system for at least 7 days. I don't know what the impact of that would have been on my system, if it would have still been a part of my system nonetheless, or if it would have been completely gone by then. But whatever the case is, when I took that first 5 milligram of the compounded version, my body felt renewed, like I was taking this thing for the first time. No, let me stress and put a disclaimer out there. I'm not a medical doctor. I don't know anything medically related to this thing, save and except for information that I've read and researched and things that are happening to my own self, right? But for me, just taking a break from the branded version, just giving my body a break, was very helpful in what happened on the compounded version of the medication. Because as I said, on Monday when I took it, I felt immediate suppression. Like me and my girlfriend wanted to go to Submarine Crabs, which is pretty much our place to hang out. Well, not well, hang out, yes, but to eat. And it's not a plug from Submarine Crabs, by the way. And I had my bowl of crabs in front of me and my lobster and my lobster tail and all of that. And I was like, dang, I gotta bag this up. She got to bag this up and take it home. And I did just that. And that thing sat in the fridge for 3 additional days for me to finish it after Monday's injection. So when I tell you, I am seeing no difference, no real difference from the component version from the genuine version, save and except that I guess one is not with any additives. And the additives that are there placed in mine, I absolutely love it. I absolutely love it. And the additives that have been placed in mine is niacinamide. I've spoken about niacinamide and what it does. It's actually something that is designed and to help you with skin conditions. Now, if you know me, I didn't have really bad skin, but I did have the need to control acne or make my pores a little bit smaller and to kind of do away with discoloration or hyperpigmentation. So that was included in my medication as part of the Tirzepatide ingredient. So I was put on a 6.2 milliliter or milligram. The dose was milligrams, 6.2 milligrams. No, not 6.2 milligrams, 0.62 milligrams. I took that on Monday, as I said, and appetite suppression, satiety was on 10. I was just going by not eating. And can I tell you something? I went 36. I'm ashamed. Guys, I'm really ashamed for say this. I'm really very, very ashamed. 36 hours I'm gonna eat. My last meal, I I just ate a quarter of a Subway sandwich, a 6 inch. So picture a 6-inch Subway sandwich, and I took a half of a 6 inch. So I had a quarter of the 12 inch. And by the way, guys, I love Subway. Not another plug. Oh my god. Not another plug. Just love it on these medications. So I had a quarter of the half of the 6 inch. And that was the first I've eaten in 36 hours. Guys. I don't know what happened on this new medication, this compounded version to my body, but she is liking it. And here is the coup de grace. Here is the moment to talk about. She dropped 4 freaking pounds in one day. Let's talk about it. Now, if you don't remember I told you guys I was stuck at 181 for the longest while. And every day I take my Mounjaro 5 milligram and just nothing happen. And I decide to get a break. As I said, I don't know if this is something medical that should be done, but I gave Mounjaro a break. I took one break from Mounjaro 5 milligram. No, that's the branded version for those who don't know. But if you know, you know. 1 week I don't take nothing. I say I'm not taking another joke because this thing is expensive. The branded version is expensive. I'm not seeing nothing on the scale. So much so that I wanted to titrate up to 7.5. But then I dialed back into myself and I said, look here, girl, don't do too much titration. Figure out another way. And I was always wrapping my mind around compounding versions. As again, if you go back and watch the other videos that I have, I've always spoken about the cost of these medications, the accessibility of them. So, taking it on in the compounded version for me was awesome because the compounded version, there are more pharmacies, compounding pharmacies that are doing these medications. So accessibility is kind of not as hard to come by, sorry, as the branded version where you have to go to one of these, well-known pharmacies. Um, and I chose Mochi Health. No, certainly, accessibility is the issue of accessibility is really reduced when you go through the telehealth pharmacy. And then the issue of cost. No, cost is something that has impeded a lot of persons who want to be on a GLP-1 from being on a GLP-1 because it's just ridiculous in terms of cost. Now, we know what has happened recently in the news where the Trump administration, came about with the partnership to reduce these costs from Nova Nordics and Eli Lilly, and that's an awesome thing. I told you guys, very awesome. And then all of this will be done through Trump RX, and we had that entire conversation in another episode. But the fact that we are here, um, considering or contemplating the branded version versus the component version, and I'm telling you now that I'm on the component version, one shot Monday, it's like I started all over again on the genuine version, the Mounjaro. Excellent, 4 pounds gone. So guys, I'm at 177 as of this morning. She is loving. She's loving it. She's loving the changes. She's loving all of it. Now my blood glucose level is also loving it as well. 5.2, guys. Don't get no better than that. It doesn't get any better than that. Yeah? So if you are considering a component version versus the branded version, it's not a lot to consider. Maybe what you need to consider is who you're gonna go with. Maybe that's maybe the toughest um question that you're gonna have to ask yourself. But really and truly, the question, while I can't tell you what to do, and I would always say speak with your medical practitioners and your general practitioners that take care of your body. I will tell you, deciding whether to compound or not to compound is really a non-debate. It's not a debatable issue if you're talking about cost and accessibility and results. Because I can tell you the cost is minimal in comparison to the branded version. The accessibility is by far greater. As I tell you, I ordered on the 26th of October and my medications were there by the 29th. I decided, however, to take a break. Remember, I was telling you about that break. So I took an entire week break before I took them. So they were put in the fridge, put on ice, and tried to keep them, at the temperature that they should be kept at in order to ensure that you're getting the most efficacy out of it and the most effectiveness. And that was done. But certainly when we talk about deciding how whether to do a component, it is not an issue for me right now. Me can't see myself. I go back to the branded version. Can't. I cannot because the branded version really doesn't have any advantage over the component version if you do your selection well in terms of the telehealth pharmacy that you're going to be using. Now there are quite a lot of them, but I'm not um being a spokesperson for Mucha Health. They have been accommodating to me and I gave them 5 stars for that. And I'm just grateful that they were able to be flexible, unlike some others that I have come in contact with, like I think it's called VIM or VM or something like that. VIVM something. I don't remember. Let me tell you what it is. They were not very flexible at all. Not very flexible, but I won't beat that horse no more than I have already when I spoke with the provider. Like literally I told her, hey, you're not helping me here. You is not helping me at all. And I was very annoyed. I didn't show it, of course, because in the grand scheme of things, I will remain professional. But it's IVIM, IVIM. Now, let me tell you something. My experience with them, me never like it. Me never like it at all. Me never like the provider. I don't like the company. I don't like, inflexible, not very accommodating, regardless of what may have been my circumstance, guys. And if they hear this, regardless of what my circumstance was, you are not very flexible and you are not very accommodating, and I'm done with that. That's the end of that story. So yes, Muchi Health was far more accommodating. None of this is paid for or brought to you by, but I can tell you my experience speaks for itself, and Mochi has been very, very accommodating and very um aware of how the world is actually, working, how the world actually goes, and everybody's, uniqueness. That's where I leave that. All right. Yeah. So there are many out there that you can dabble into to find out what works best for you. I'm going to be sticking with mochi for now. Um, and see where it takes me. As I said, I this week, and this, guys, this is week 11, by the way. So week 11, and for reminders, I started at 215 and I'm at 177 11 weeks later. Well, call it 12 weeks later because I was actually off week 10. Literally, I was just not doing any shots at all, and my satiety, food suppression, food noise, all of that remained, but pretty much like it was in my system, which I suspect it was in my system still, yeah. So this is week 11's update. Side effects, no longer an issue. Don't think I even have those anymore. Um, Still drinking my water, still doing my 40 ounces or 8 glasses, whatever that equates to. Still doing a lot of my fiber. Right now I have a fiber shake that I'm going to have in a little bit. But that has been it. Like, guys, let me tell you, I had a 6-inch sandwich and I split it in half. I shared it with with my mom. I actually took the 6-inch and I cut it into three. I took a knife to the six and I gave her three and I took three, and that's all I had in 36 hours because I hadn't eaten since yesterday's breakfast and I just had that sandwich. So let me tell you, so the compound version, it a go on in itself. Me not have nothing to complain about with compounding. So if when you look at my last video where I said to compound or not to compound, is that is a question. This is no longer a question. Go away and go compound, right? And I don't know what happened this week in the GLP news world that is of worthy to mention outside of last week um news item, but I'm sure something happened. But I just wanted to drop by here to give you an update as to what my first week on a compounded Tirzepatide has been. Oh, guys, have to share this. Have to share this so we can see this. So I don't know why I'm bringing you all these things because it's not like I'm being paid, nor am I being promoted, nor I'm not just promoting this or promoting sake. But guys, I found this book on Amazon, and if you know, you know I'm an Amazon baby. Love there. I found this journal of a triceptide journal, and the reason why I started this as opposed to my Mounjaro journey on the branded version is because I was new to this thing. But she get old now. She in her 11 weeks now, and she learned two things. So I'm starting to record, and this is a book designed specifically for um journaling what is happening to us on our Mounjaro journey, and this is Tirzepatide. So it's whether a Mounjaro or a component version. Now let me just give you an idea. It's not a very thick book, as you can see. It's maybe a couple, maybe like a month. It's not very thick, but let me tell you the beauty about this book, guys. Run, go get it if you can. This book, or this journal rather, allows you to do a definite can't see that, but it allows you to do I don't think you can see that. All right, let me see if I can set it this way. It allows you to basically chronicle everything about your GLP experience, and it's done day by day for 4 weeks. Now if you look, this is a sample page that they actually showed you how to fill in your day by day experience. Hopefully, you can see. Now, you can see where it tells you the date, the amount of weight, what mood you're in, and you're shading these things in. So, what mood you're in, how many glasses of water you've had. You see, they're shading. Some of them are shaded, and some of them are still white. And then you have your amount of coffee that you've had, and you see this one is shaded. Then it goes into your energy level for the day, and of course, you tick the one if you have a lot of energy, the battery light is there, and as your energy depletes, it gives you that. Then it gives you an option to write in what you had for breakfast, what you had for lunch, how many exercise time you did, what your exercise time was, the total amount of sleep or steps you took for the day, the snacking that you did, your dinner, and so forth and so on. And all of this now, it goes into asking you also down the bottom for you to also select what your experience has been for the day. So if you felt nausea, if you felt upset stomach, if you felt diarrhea, constipation, if you felt dizziness, fatigue, whatever is your its side effect, it allows you to chronicle it right here. So you really have like a medical journal with you, um, to bring to your doctor's office. You don't have to be scribbling down on paper or any just random notebook. You can actually just neatly put it into where it needs to be and open it, log it, and move right along. And similarly, you do get other parts that pretty much tells you about your appointments and everything. So guys, run get it. I think this is an awesome um little journal to keep if you're intending to be on this journey for a little while. And that's pretty much what has happened this week on my week 11 update of my journey towards GLP-1s and particularly my compound, the Tirzepatide. So thank you guys for joining. Hope to see you on next week's update, and I'll hopefully some interesting things happen in the GLP news space for me to report on. So thank you once again, guys. Take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye bye.